Yay! We're streaming. Hello, people of the world. Is my voice coming through okay? I should have checked before we.
Yeah, it seems to be coming through loud and clear.
Okay, great.
Yep, I'm good.
That's good to hear.
The people of the world say hi.
Hello, world.
Feels like we're missing a lot of regulars.
Yeah, the Super Bowl's today, so.
Wow. Who cares?
Dude, you
Thank
gotta.
you. Thank you.
You gotta kick a ball. You gotta hold a ball. You gotta
So
run with that
important to kick.
ball. You gotta suffer. Oh no, I'm not gonna go. But for the sake of upholding the reputation of ScriptCamp, I have to make us seem more entertaining.
Okay, but you were extremely inaccurate of your descriptions. What does kicking have to do with football?
We're like it's a field goal, and like they hold it, and then he runs up and like, you know, with the new update, the new DLC for football. Don't know where it's going anymore. All right, we're 6 past the hour now. Welcome everyone to ScriptCamp Table Reads. I'm your host, Gray. And at this event, we read through people's scripts that they have submitted, members of the server, and then we go through, give each other feedback. And if you choose to give feedback or to voice a character in a script, I will reward you with script coins, which are a form of currency here on the server. Post a little blurb here. Didn't work. It's fine. But if you amass enough script coins, you can buy various merch, or if you have 100 of them, you can buy your own full-length feature or a TV pilot reading here at Table Reads on ScriptCamp. So yeah. Let's see. We have actually 2 submissions today. Both are from Willow, and then since there just wasn't much to go around, we added a script from the blacklist that we can read through in addition. So it's a whole feature. Be excited. But can everyone see where the PDFs are posted for the scripts, and or are you watching Joel's stream to see the script?
Yes. Yes.
Woo! If you guys have any trouble, just let me know and I will try to assist. But yeah, let's start with our first script, Esmeralda's Daughter from Willow. This is a fantasy drama feature. The logline is, amid accusations of nepotism and cruelty, the daughter of a celebrity dragon racer struggles to find her self-identity and prove herself to be a competent racer. Looking for general feedback, no content warning. Anything to add, Willow?
No, not really. Hopefully the writing will speak for itself.
Excited. We read some of this at Animation Group a while back, so I'm glad.
Yeah, but
By a while back, you mean last week?
yes.
It was a metric while.
No writers are impatient, but geez.
But yeah, I'm excited that other people get to see it now. So.
Well, not exactly, because as I said, when you guys read that I didn't like it. I hated it, and I was going to erase it. So this is right in the same realm, but it's completely different.
Woo! Oh.
So this is not a continuation. It's a replacement of what you've already read.
Oh man, that's even better. So excited. Okay, I'm gonna go down the character list here, and if you want to read for this character in the script, just speak up and I will cast you. First we have Latoya, 12. Oh, you want it, Lasagna?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lasagna. McKay. Anyone for McKay? Who is 10?
Yes.
Thank you, Dan. Do Esmeralda. Anyone for the part of Esmeralda?
Sure, why
Anyone?
not?
Thank you, Joel. And finally, Jonathan. Anyone for the part of Jonathan? 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 Da-na-na-na-na-na. Nacho, do you feel like being Jonathan?
Feel it.
Thank
Feel it.
you. Feel like I always draft you when no one else is brave enough. But yeah. Also, sorry if my mic picks up my gross mouth sounds. I keep on trying to figure out the mic quality, but I'm not adept. But yeah, let's see, we can pull up our stream then. Where did it go? Okay. Everyone can see the script. I'll get started here then. Exterior Skytrack Sports Arena, day. Exuberance and excitement fill the air as thousands of fans take their seats to watch a race. They wave color-coded flags matching the racer they cheer for. The currently empty race course consists of an oval loop outlined by floating buoys. Exterior family box, day. At the top of the bleachers, a special authorized-only box. Family members of racers gather to watch. Latoya, 12, and her father Xander, 35, take their seats. Young Latoya squints to see the backstage area, where jockeys and their dragons prepare for the race. She spots a female jockey, Esmeralda, 31. Both she and her dragon Sunfish are wearing green sports armor.
There is, I see Mom.
With giddy eagerness, she pulls several packs of trading cards from her pockets and dumps them on the seat next to her. One falls, landing next to someone's shoe.
Excuse me, could you get that for me, please?
Michaela, 10, appearing completely normal and unremarkable, turns to Latoya with confusion.
What?
Latoya points.
I dropped my cards. Could you get them, please? They're right by your foot.
Oh,
Mickey feels the ground, searching, even though the pack is in plain view. Her fingers stumble across it. Curious, she listens to the crinkle of the packaging and feels along the edges.
oh, they're trading cards. You collect them?
She offers them back to Latoya, who is frozen agape. Mickey senses her unease.
I'm blind.
You don't look blind.
What do blind people look like?
Latoya slinks back with no response. Again, Mickey holds out the pack of cards.
So, trading cards?
Latoya perks up again, giddiness returning.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. So I can find Mom's new card for you then.
It's Mickey's turn to be speechless.
Do all racers get to be a card? Like, would my brother have one even if he was in the circuits last year?
Yeah, if he made it the Pro League, the part of him.
He notices Mickey's excitement.
Help me?
Both girls squeal as they open the packs of cards, divvying them up. Exterior starting gate, day. Organized chaos as jockeys and dragons line up, ready to start. Mickey's brother Jonathan, 24, wearing the blue armor, looks over to see Esmeralda line up next to him. Starstruck, he can't help but stare. I think that's Nacho.
Oh my gosh. You're Esmeralda.
She smiles politely.
I can't tell you what an honor this is. I've been your biggest fan since, like, forever.
It's a pleasure to meet you too. Good luck today.
Unfazed, she focuses on the course ahead. Family box. Mickey rubs her fingers across the braille integrated into the card's design.
Wow, I found a card for Esmeralda.
Latoya jolts up.
You found it! That's my mother.
Mikei's turn to be speechless.
Esmeralda's your mother?
Latoya shrugs. Then she remembers.
Oh, man, you probably want an autograph. I usually carry some money, but forgot today. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm not much of a fan. No, I mean, your mother's great.
Starting gate. Jonathan's hands shake as he glances at Esmeralda.
It's just my brother is a huge fan. He waited 3 hours in line just to meet her at RaceCon.
Family box. Latoya laughs.
I'll make sure to get him an autograph before we leave. Is there anything you'd like?
Me? Oh, I couldn't. I don't want to be rude.
Come on, spit it out. We're friends now.
Mikei blushes.
I always wanted to pet her dragon son. I know it's stupid.
Latoya cocks her head. Weirdest request ever.
Sunfish? Why?
Mikei rubs her fingers over the raised image of the dragon on the trading card.
Because he's an elven crag. It's my dream breed. I know I'll never get to fly on one, but I'd love to at least touch one.
I'll see what I can do. My name's Latoya.
Michaela, but everyone calls me Mickey. Mickey.
A buzzer sounds. All the racers' dragons take flight. They zoom along the course to thunderous applause. Latoya and Mikei cheer, waving green and blue flags, respectively. A camera flash. Montage of magazine covers. Racers Digest. Esmeralda breaks record for longest winning streak. Dragon Illustrated. Inspired by Sunfish, Elven Crag's top most popular dragon breed. Hot Sheet News. Famous racer gives birth to four-headed alien. Up and coming beat. Esmeralda's daughter to carry on legacy in racing circuit. End montage. Big fan of Hot Sheet News. But yeah, thank you for sharing, Willow. I like the direction you took with it. I like the last direction too, but I know you weren't so thrilled with it. But yeah, I like where this is going. But yeah, let's start with feedback now. We're just looking for general feedback on this one, nothing specific. Joel, did you want to start us off?
Yeah. So obviously, as a disabled person, I love this, and I love the representation of disability in the media, and I think that's so important, and so I absolutely love this. I think this is great. It highlights how you don't see all disabilities. It's great that you get a blind person, for example, who you can't see is blind. Like in the media, a blind person often is even wearing massive like black sunglasses, or is their irises are white, so that it's very obvious that they're blind. But not all, in fact, very rarely will you see a blind person like that. And I think it's great that it's represented like that, so that the media is catching up at last to real life. And so, yeah, I think that's so important, and I absolutely love that, and I think that's so important. I love that friendship as well that you're showing. This relationship that's being built between Latoya and Mikei, and I can't wait to see where that goes. And I mean, I think I've read a bit more than we've just read here in table reads, but I feel like there's a bit of a I know that will be a bit of a sort of weird relationship between Esmeralda and Latoya. Can't wait to see where that goes as well, and how Mikei plays into that. I think that'd be very exciting.
All right, thanks, Joel. Carlos C, did you? Oh, were you gonna say something, Willow?
No, I was just going to say thank you. Thank you. I'm listening.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off or anything.
Nope.
But
Oh,
let's see, Carlos C, did you have any feedback? And any one of you can decline if you don't have any, or I can come back to you later if you want. Looks like I think we have some new people here. But yeah. Anything from Carlos C? Dan, what about you?
I like this one a lot better than the original, although I have questions about how this girl is blind. Like she's clearly said, this is this card. How do you know that if you can't see it?
Oh,
It does
there was
say
braille
later.
on it. You passed her hand over like braille. There's braille.
Oh. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really have much of a complaint. I kind of like this dynamic, and I kind of want that girl to be the main character now.
Same.
I'm pretty okay with
That's about
Latoya,
all I can
but
think
I
of
would
because
say so.
it's good. I like it a lot, although I get the feeling that the protagonist and her mother, right? That's still going to be the main dynamic.
actually, like the more I developed the story, it became more Latoya and Mike,
Nice.
and their relationship, with kind of living under the shadow of Esmeralda. Esmeralda, like I've been kind of planning things out and working out scenes in my head, and she doesn't play as much of a role, an active role. She pops up here and there, but it is more of her celebrity status that Latoya can't escape versus her mother herself.
Got it. That makes sense. That's all for now.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Dan. And also, I'm gonna hand out script coins after the event, guys, so I'm just keeping a tally. But yeah, Lasagna, did you have any feedback?
I really liked this version as well, although I did like the first one too. So I could go either way, but I enjoy the addition of Mika, and I like how you represented a blind person. I've been wondering though, does she wear glasses? Not all blind people wear glasses, but I'm wondering how much she can see to the point does she need glasses?
I did want her to not be completely blind. I want, but I couldn't quite figure out how to work that into the script so that it both
That
flows.
could be with the possibility of wearing glasses.
So yeah,
That could alleviate it.
the
Mhm.
yes glasses.
Yeah, glasses might be able to help them like, why'd she need glasses? Can she see? So that could be a question people ask, and they might be able to assume.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like
Yeah,
the
Joel?
way that it was there weren't any glasses because it
Uh,
you kind of see that they're not. You have to learn that they're blind rather than just knowing instantly. And I think that's good because some people you don't see have a disability. That's why I liked it personally.
All right, that's pretty. That's good. I guess I was just wondering if they were wearing glasses in the first place. But I like that there's braille on the card as well. You can read them. I think that's pretty cool. What were you gonna say?
I have to say, regarding the glasses, and I think this is a really fair point, and I think both of you have a good point. I specifically didn't give her any glasses for the reason that Joel mentioned. She looks like a completely normal kid. There is nothing outwardly that anyone can see that she is blind. And that is the reason I didn't give her glasses. But at the same time, yeah, I want to make her as realistic as possible. And it's tough to balance. I I was wondering, I wasn't sure. She realizes that they're trading cards based on the shape and the packaging. And at least I don't know. Do you
If she's
I did
familiar with trade cards, then I'd say that's pretty plausible.
that maybe she could tell just by the distinct packaging, the shape, the texture of it.
Yeah, the packaging and the texture of the trade cards, I'd
When
say
you
even
said
if she
she
can't see
dropped the
them,
card.
be able to.
Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
Because I actually did remember something now. When you said she dropped the cards, did you mean that she dropped the actual package, or like 52 card pickup?
No, it's not 52 card pickup. It's a package.
Oh, so they were all still in the package instead of like loose.
Yeah, they're not loose. That's what they do before the race starts, is they open up the packages and then they start feeling the cards. Well, Mike feels the cards, and that's where she can read the braille of the individual card, and she can find Esmeralda's.
Got it.
Oh my god, that's so rude. She opened the cards on her own? Those aren't yours?
Oh, well, no, Latoya did invite. When because
Okay.
Mike wanted to find one of her brother. Finding out that her brother would now be a trading card, Latoya invited her.
Okay. Right, I remember. I was worried that she's opened them on her own before and missed something.
No, I think the only thing questionable she did was maybe to feel the cards, and it's like, oh, well, what is this? I'm going to feel your item instead of give it back to you. But she does go to give it back.
I mean, to be honest,
I feel like
yeah, a child would do that. To be honest, like, what am I holding in my hand? So, I mean, if you're an adult, that would be kind of weird, but I think it works for a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old child. So,
yeah. I guess I feel like I did have some feedback, but I feel like it should come back to me. No, but I really did like it, and I like the dragon. I like that she wants to pet a dragon, because now I do too. One day. So yeah, come back to me. I'm gonna give this a quick reread.
Thanks, Lasagna. Merrickson, do you have any feedback?
Well, I literally just answered when you guys started your critiques, so all I can say is, yeah, I want to pet a dragon, and that's all.
Don't we all? Nacho, did you have any feedback?
Yeah. So first, yeah, thanks for sharing this one. Been eager to, read. I remember you mentioning this project some time ago, so it's cool to be able to see this. I'm not sure where this takes place in the story. I'm guessing I didn't quite understand if these are like human characters and then they're riding dragons. Is what I think. That's what we're seeing. So, like, I assume that the world is already established by the time we, start the scene. I guess so. I have like two notes. Like, one, the biggest thing I think, just like, I would be looking for just either a little bit more conflict in the scene, especially like, this little short snippet with Jonathan and Esmeralda. It's just kind of like, oh, you're Esmeralda, hi, how are you? Like, it's not really, it's just kind of, there, right? Like, there's not like Esmeralda doesn't want to hear this guy, or there's nothing, like, there's just would like a little bit more, like somebody's trying to do something and then the other person is either an obstacle or causing problems for them. Or you could go a different direction and just, let's say this is more like a discovery scene where we're just kind of learning something like mysterious or interesting. So, I mean, I think that's kind of like the part with Latoya and DK where, it's like a mystery that, oh, like she what is she doing? You know, she can't find this card, even though it's right in front of her. And then we learn that she's blind, and like maybe try to continue raising other questions and things here just to keep us like reading ahead to find out the answer, right? But the last part of the scene about the mother, it seemed like we were starting to introduce some kind of mystery or something interesting here with like, no, that's fine. I'm not much of a fan, right? Like that sounds like you're either she doesn't like her mother, or she is like there's some problem or it's something else. Like I just wanted to lean into that a little bit more to make us curious, make us like wonder, be interested, and yeah, that's kind of like the biggest thing. And maybe about the petting the dragon. I mean, I don't know if that's just something that's really cool, but is there a way to make it like, I don't know, problem for Latoya, or somehow just a little bit more mysterious, or something that makes us want to like reading. And I think you're setting up like a race, which is about to start, and that's going to be like a big kind of conflict moment with the racers. So maybe you could introduce the stakes for the people racing. That could be something else to do in the. So those are like kind of my bigger comments. I have some other comments that I would say like I wouldn't really worry about too much right now. I think this is like an early draft. I would just get the draft done. But once you get into the stage where you're like polishing, like maybe after your second draft or something, like then I would just try to go back and look at all the characters and try to differentiate their voices a little bit more. Latoya, Mike, Jonathan, Esmeralda, like I'm not really like seeing a lot of different kind of speech patterns, or like just imagine if you covered the names, like they don't really sound really distinct. Like, so that's just something to think about. And it's, like for me, my first draft, I'm just putting whatever I have in there. Just the dialogue is going to be on the nose. I'm just trying to get the scene on the page. And then maybe after your second draft, you can start like tweaking it up, inject some subtext, or really have some fun with the dialogue and the way the different characters speak. So yeah, that would be more just kind of polishing thing. But yeah, it's sounds like a cool world that you set up here. So looking forward to reading more. One more just small thing also for when you're polishing, just maybe look at some of your sentences a little bit long, like see if you could maybe use a fragment or just kind of shorten them a little bit, and just, a couple of things could be a little bit more concise, but generally like really nice action lines.
Thank you, Nacho. Roman, I think you came in like halfway through feedback. Let's see. Sapphire.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
did. So I currently do not have any quality feedback for this one, but I heard that there will be a second script coming up, and if that's the case, then I will participate in the feedback for that one more so.
Sounds good. Sapphire J, did you have any feedback? Wait, okay. Trisha, did you have? Wait. Sorry, I just saw Joel's message. But Trisha, did you have any feedback? Let's see, Zach, I think you posted some feedback in the text, which I guess I usually read it out loud, so I'll read this thing you wrote up here. Zach says, very cool and very unique story. Dragon racing could be a take on cars. I feel like there's a friendship between the two characters we spend the most time on, but unsure whether we will actually focus on the dragon racing side of things. Because ideally, I would have liked to see that at the start to drive home the uniqueness. Also, I'm confused by the character speechless and then speaks. It seems contradictory. And there's a bit more scattered throughout the text here, but that's the biggest chunk. And let's see, Elliot, did you have any feedback? I guess there's two Elliots.
Oh, there's the other Elliot. Okay.
No, but they ate honestly. All right. Also, sorry, Joe. You told me that last time, but I guess I don't know my motherboard crashed or something. But yeah, let's see. I'll give my feedback then before we go on to the next script. I want to pull it up in front of me just so I can give accurate feedback. Yeah, the thing that Zach said about character speechless and then saying something didn't bother me so much, although I feel like we saw the action line characters turn to be speechless twice. Let me just check.
Yes, that stood out to me as well, that was repeated. Yep,
Okay.
a few
And
times.
let's see. I think Lasagna mentioned that Mike's response to Latoya not understanding that she was blind, it didn't really bother me either. Maybe it is more of a calm adult way to handle that, but I feel like Mike has already answered that question so many times that she just has
Yeah,
a
that's what I
go-to
thought it
answer.
sounded.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what it
you're asking
sounded like.
people,
Sorry.
aren't even teenagers, to have adult answers.
I guess I was thinking that it sounded rehearsed. Like, yeah, either she's heard it a million times or not. It's like when someone asks you that, tell them this because they're silly. I just found it amusing. It wasn't necessarily a criticism or anything. I just thought, yeah, she's been through this before, or someone told her to say that.
Yeah, I never thought.
And I guess I want like a second, like a quick second for her to think of a response. Like, oh, right, this.
Yeah, as a disabled
That's
person,
all.
I think that happens a lot. Just sort of you having a disability does actually make you more adult. You grow up quicker because people can be nasty to you when you're disabled, and so it definitely ages you up. I thinking about when I was that age, I was very adult, just for various reasons, but one of them being bullying, and yeah, there's a bunch of reasons why a young disabled child would act adult. And I feel like from what I've read that we haven't read in table reads, I think it also explains Latoya's slightly adultishness. Because yeah, the relationship between her and mum is not an ideal one, I would say, without giving too much away. So yeah, I think that both of them are actually fairly realistic, despite their age.
All right, let's see. And yeah, you guys can, to a point, like add stuff in if I point something out. I appreciate like the extra perspectives on it. I feel as though there's not much
Willow?
distinction.
Oh, okay. No. So sorry.
Did you have something to say about like the last point?
I had something to say. I have a question for Willow, real quick. Sorry.
Yes.
So I was going to ask. You said that her blindness. I don't know if you read what I said. You said that her blindness wasn't like completely blind, but almost no one is completely blind, and also her case actually seems a bit rather severe in the fact you said that she can't see the race at all, but she can hear it, and that she couldn't see the cards, but she could feel it. So I'm just sort of wondering why doesn't she have like, an aid like a cane or a seeing eye dragon or whatever? Because I'm wondering if her brother just sat her down and then just left her and like, I'll be back.
That is very well possible. Yeah, I don't see anything. That's a really, really good point. And definitely something that needs to be added and adjusted. At least give her a cane. Or I do like be it positive or negative. I do like the brother just like sitting her down and leaving her or something. I kind of imagined that like her parents are actually right there, but they're not really involved in this whole conversation thing between these two kids.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really mention them, and honestly, I didn't really need to mention Latoya's father. He plays absolutely no role in it.
I think you should still mention that because it's hard to visualize it. I suppose we visualize these kids just sitting in this crowd alone instead of, oh yeah, their parents are obviously there, you know?
Okay, so yes, I do need to make that more obvious. Thank you. These are the things I need to watch for. We in later scenes or the next time we see Mike, we do see her with her cane. I'd like to give her a guide dragon. I'd absolutely love it.
Nice. Okay, great. I'm so sorry for interrupting. Please go now.
That's okay. And I was about to say that there isn't much differentiation between Latoya's speech and Mike's for me. I think from what they say and their behavior, I can tell that Mike is sort of more reserved and thinks more like an adult comparatively, like doesn't really act like an adult, but as opposed to Latoya, who is more outgoing and at times thoughtless, but like, still friendly. But the way they say things isn't terribly different to me. Which to a point it's okay, but when you have like two main characters, I really appreciate when they have like different vocabularies or mannerisms of speech. So, nothing else comes to mind right now. I might leave something in the text later, but as I said, I like the direction you were going with the last one, and I really like the direction you're going now. And I hope we get to see more of this script. I think other people have already seen a bit of the stuff from later in it, so I hope you'll consider sharing it at table read soon. But yeah.
Oh, Carlos C asked, how do I submit a short? I guess someone might have something they want to share.
Oh yeah. Carlos, first of all, I'm going to tag you in the chat where you can ask questions and send messages. The one you're typing in right now, we reserve for posting the PDFs and the parts everybody has. And I'm going to post the link for the submission. Yes, okay. Thank you, Joe. Those are the links for the 5-page submission and the full-length submissions for Hunter Script coins. Can you see where we're typing, Carlos? If you need any further assistance, just let us know. We will help you out. But yeah, thanks for sharing, Willow. And now you can share again, because the next script is Draglets of Makara, Kebabs -3 from Willow. This is an animated drama TV pilot. The series logline is Young dragons grow and learn about themselves, their families, and their community. The episode logline is a disabled dragon brings snacks for her class, but doesn't want to share with everyone. Feedback we're looking for, is it boring? Is anything confusing? Content warning for slur pertaining to disabilities. Anything to add before we go on, Willow?
Yeah, sure. So I know that the previous one and this one has several recurring themes. Know that they are completely different worlds, different everything. That one is a world of humans where dragons are just animals. In this case, the dragons are the people. That is pretty much all there are. There are no humans in this world. So there's a few recurring themes, but just know they are completely separate. This isn't. I don't think this particular episode makes a good pilot. I've struggled to come up with the story for the pilot. I've got all the characters, I've got their character arcs, and this was just an episode that I got inspired to write. And I think it can work as a pilot, but probably not the best episode to be a pilot. Basically. Yeah, so my biggest question is about the confusion. Since it is a world where that is created by dragons that they would have created for themselves, I want to make sure that things are clear. Popinjay is disabled, and I want to make sure that it is clear what she is doing and why she is doing. She does a couple particular things regarding her disability, and I want to make sure it is clear and it makes sense what she's doing. So we'll see.
All right, thanks, Willow. And I will go down the list and start casting parts now. If you'd like the part, just speak up and I will cast you. First is Popinjay, 10.
Yes,
Anyone for
I
the
will do
character
that.
Popinjay? Thank you, Joel. Ginseng.
Can I do ginseng?
Thank you, Lasagna. Is it ginseng?
No problem.
If anyone feels strongly about it, just correct me.
It's ginseng.
Okay, I was right the first time. All right, thanks, Lasagna. Who wants to be Hyla, the mother?
I will
Anyone
be
for
if
Hyla?
you want.
Oh, thank you, Cindy. You can be Hyla.
Hello.
And do you have the PDF open for Kebabs -3? Or are you watching Joel's stream of the script?
Let me see if I can see the stream.
I'll go ahead and keep casting. Anyone for Jujubee, the brother?
Okay.
Thank you, Dan. Professor Lanster? Anyone for Professor Lanster? Like Professor Layton, but not. Let's see, Nacho, do you want to be Professor Lanster?
Yes, I can be the professor.
Oh, yes. Back in my day when I was in, I don't know, just made his personality old. But, and yeah, I can be Coach Billaba. Assuming no one else wants it.
Take a second part.
Oh, no, it's fine. Don't want to have to double up as much as we can. But
You're
yeah,
reading
there's
the
our
narration
cast.
already.
What was that?
You're reading the narration already, so you get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if Jujubee doesn't interact with Coach, then you can have it, Dan.
Yeah, they do not interact.
Woo.
Okay.
That case, thank you, Dan. All right, there's the casting. And now, Cindy, did you get it figured out?
I have the stream up.
Okay, and you can read it?
Yes, I'll put my spectacles on and make a spectacle of myself.
Excellent. Then I'll start with direction. Interior kitchen, night. A medieval kitchen with period state-of-the-art equipment and carved stone walls. A record spins on a phonograph blasting rock music. Slabs of meat sizzle on an open grill. Chef Hyla, 50, a four-legged dragon, with manicured claws and elegantly bejeweled wings closed against her back, places sheep pans on the knee-high counters. Nearby Popinjay, 10, sits on a towel on the floor, stirring a bowl of spices. She is sitting in an odd, uncomfortable position for a dragon. Her bat wings, crinkled and atrophied, droop unnaturally. Montage. Using tongs, Hyla removes the meat from the grill. Popinjay watches. She now uses a dog-style wheelchair for her hind legs. Her useless wings are strapped against her back. Hyla dices the meat. Popinjay drops the meat chunks into a bag of the spice mixture. Instead of shaking the bag, she slams it with malevolent joy. Hyla scowls, taking the bag and shaking it properly. Popinjay pouts. With Hyla's supervision, Popinjay puts the meat chunks on skewers, creating kebabs. She lays out the kebabs in the pan. End montage. Cut 2, exterior walking path, day. A dirt path with ruts. School-age dragon youths called draglets walk to school carrying book bags. Popinjay walks down the path. Attached to her wheelchair is a wagon holding the pan of kebabs. She struggles as the wheels of both her wheelchair and wagon sink in the ruts. Ginseng, 10, an aspiring Olympic athlete, runs up to Popinjay with a smile.
Popinjay, what'd you bring?
Popinjay
Nothing.
smiles with a cold wink.
Nothing.
Your mom made kebab.
Popinjay snaps.
I made them. Well, mostly.
Ginseng eyes them with disgust.
Maybe I don't want him after all.
Popinjay snarls. Both girls come head to head, ready to come to blows.
Take that back.
Make me.
Both grin.
I challenge you to
Bring it on.
The girls touch forehead to forehead.
ready, set, go.
They each push forward to the two interlocked rams, trying to shove the other backwards. Ginseng digs her hind claws into the ground to keep from sliding backward. Popinjay, with only 2 functional legs, turns her claws backward. She braces her legs and leans forward. This allows her to rely on the weight of her body instead of the strength of her legs. Both girls continue pushing, unable to budge the other. Nearby, watching from afar, are the preens, Shella, Tarani, and Ziri, 3 of Popinjay's classmates who spend their time preening themselves. They sneer as Popinjay and Ginseng kick up dust, also nearly bumping into passerby. Path. Popinjay readjusts her leg. Ginseng takes advantage, and with a loud grunt, forces Popinjay to roll backward. She faceplants. Ginseng laughs, dancing around.
Oh yeah, who's the most awesome?
The preens react with revulsion. Popinjay laughs as she gets up.
Laugh now, because next time you're the one who's gonna be eating dirt.
They laugh and walk together towards school, Popinjay again pulling the wagon of kebabs attached to her wheelchair. But the wheels fall into a rut.
Here, I'll take the wagon.
She unhooks it and they continue on their way.
Hey Popinjay, check out. Hey Popinjay, check out the pre.
They notice the preens using a vanity mirror to glitterize their faces. Popinjay and Ginseng grimace in repulsion.
What are we doing?
Being stupid.
Obviously. You know, if Coach Biloba made us run laps in gym class, maybe but I might break your nail. Woohoo.
Ginseng bursts into laughter, causing the preens to turn and look. All 5 girls stare down with mutual disgust. The school bell rings. Exterior school courtyard day. Students bustle around, heading to class. Popinjay and Ginseng watch as the preens enter the 4th grade schoolhouse. Popinjay eyes the 12 kebabs in the wagon.
We made one for everyone in the class, but the queens are a bunch of jerks. You see the way they looked at us.
She says preens like a slur.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have my kebab.
She drops 3 kebabs into a trash can. Both girls laugh as they head to the same schoolhouse. Exterior 4th grade schoolhouse, day. A single-class building with architecture reminiscent of a small cave. Professor Lanster, 60, stands outside welcoming students as they enter. She's a well-seasoned teacher who knows all the tricks kids try to pull.
Good morning, Ginseng, Popinjay.
Good morning, Professor Lancer.
Professor Lancer.
What's that you got with you?
I made kebabs for everyone.
So sweet. They look delicious.
She counts.
I only count 9.
Popinjay feigns sadness while Ginseng stifles a chuckle.
There was an accident, and the rest fell on the ground.
Professor Lanster knows.
That may be so. But in order to share, there must be enough for everyone. So I'm sorry. I can't let you share with the class.
Popinjay's heart breaks. The three enter the classroom as the final bell rings. Exterior tree, day. A large tree with gnarly roots. Poppinjay's wheelchair sits empty, nearby. Ginseng and Poppinjay relax on the roots of a large tree, munching on the kebabs. The wheelchair sits nearby, empty. Ginseng and Poppinjay relax under the tree, munching on the kebabs. Ginseng sits like a normal dog, but Poppinjay, with paralyzed legs, has an awkward position. Now visible is a gnarly scar along her spine that's usually hidden beneath her wings. The pan of kebabs sit between them. They finish all but three. The pan sits between them. Bell rings. Exterior 4th grade schoolhouse, day. Ginseng heads inside. Poppinjay close behind. Poppinjay. We didn't cast one for Shella, right?
No.
I'm gonna do Shella. Poppinjay. Poppinjay spins as Shella hands her the pan with 3 leftover kebabs. You left this under the tree.
The pan. My mum would kill me.
Poppinjay looks up to see no one. Shella has already entered the classroom. Poppinjay ponders over the pan. Exterior sports arena. Running track, day. An empty sports arena with a running track encircling the field. Gym class. Poppinjay's class run laps. Poppinjay and Ginseng run together, far outdistancing the others. Coach Biloba, 30, sits on the field watching.
You sure she didn't say anything?
No, that was it.
Tried a kebab.
No, I looked. You didn't touch them.
Well, probably she didn't want to get her paws dirty.
Maybe.
She stares at the ground as she runs. An awkward silence.
What if? What if we were the bullies?
Ginseng scoffs.
Look at them.
They're coming up behind the preens, about to lap them. The preens struggle to run, exhausted, cramping, fed up with gym class.
It's payback all those times they bullied.
But have they ever bullied us?
Of course they have. Just look at them.
2 girls come up behind the preens, about to pass.
Gelatoroni, Ziri, pick up the pace.
See? Even my dad agrees.
Poppinjay side-eyes her.
That's not a good thing.
They pass the preens.
You girls just let the cripple pass you.
Ginseng shrivels up in shame. She stares at the ground, confused and reflecting. She slows, as does a sympathetic Poppinjay.
Ginseng, stop slowing down just so Poppinjay can keep up.
The 2 girls speed up.
What if we are the bullies?
They continue running in thoughtful silence. The preens trudge on, glaring in jealousy at Poppinjay and Ginseng as they are lapped again. Exterior neighborhood, day. An upper-middle-class neighborhood. The multi-story homes have similar cave-like architecture to the classroom, but more elaborate. Every home has a landing pad and a backyard-style area on the roof. Hyla flies into the neighborhood, landing on her roof. She enters the home through a roof door. The house sits there, so normal, so peaceful.
Mom, I have something to tell you.
Silence.
You did what?
Startled, a flock of pegasi fly from a tree. Kitchen. The pan with the 3 leftover kebabs sit on the counter. Hyla seethes while Poppinjay hangs her head. She opens her mouth to speak.
I don't want to hear a word from you right now. I'm very upset, so I'm gonna go lay down and take a nap before I say something I'll regret.
Poppinjay starts to speak again but thinks better of it. Hyla stumbles out of the room. Jujubee, 17, pokes his head around the corner.
Ah, somebody's in trouble.
Poppinjay swats at him.
Shut up.
Jujubee cackles as his claw steps run away. Poppinjay stands there, staring at the 3 kebabs. Her eyes light up with an idea. She chucks the 3 kebabs in the trash, then pulls out the same bowl of ingredients she used yesterday. Following a recipe book written by her mother, she mixes the spices in the bowl. She pulls out some raw meat, looking from the meat to the grill to the meat. She's got a problem. Hallway. Popinjay approaches an open doorway. Peeking inside, she sees an unoccupied art station.
GGB.
The door slams in her face. She shouts through the closed door.
Go away.
I need your help.
He cracks the door.
What's in it for me?
Oh, lovey.
Slam.
I'll do your chores this weekend.
Not interested.
Popinjay racks her brain.
I'll leave you alone. I won't talk to you for the rest of the week.
The door opens.
What did you need?
She scowls up at him. Exterior 4th grade schoolhouse, day. Professor Lanster greets students as they arrive at the school. Popinjay approaches following Ginseng pulling the wagon with a pan of 12 kebabs.
Good morning, Popinjay. Good morning, Ginseng.
I brought some kebabs again. And this time I made sure there were enough for everyone.
Professor Lanster smiles.
Wonderful. I'm sure your classmates would love to try them.
They head inside. Interior 4th grade classroom, day. 12 desks and 11 students. Each desk is inches off the floor, and every student sits on a cushioned seat. Except for Popinjay's desk, which sits halfway back along the side near Ginseng, but it has no cushion. One desk sits empty, unused. The students' mouths water as Professor Lanster carries the pan through the aisles. Popinjay walks with her, giving each student a kebab and napkin. She comes to Shella. Both girls avoid eye contact as Popinjay gives her a kebab. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She walks on. Exterior tree, day. Popinjay relaxes on the ground. Wheelchair sits empty nearby. Ginseng sits on a root. They watch in disgust as the preens sashay through the courtyard.
We're not going to be friends with them, are we?
Ew, I hope not.
An awkward silence.
So, if we're not friends, and we're not enemies, what are we?
Real acquaintances. Oh,
Does Ginseng know what cordial means? That's Nacho.
I was thinking they read said it.
Oh, cordial acquaintances.
Ginseng spins to see Professor Lanster. Popinjay, with no control of her lower limbs, uses her foreclaws to turn herself.
What's that?
Cordial acquaintances. It means someone that you're not friends with, but still have to interact with.
She smiles at Popinjay.
I'm proud of what you did today.
But I still don't like them.
Hate him.
I'm going to say something controversial that your parents won't.
She looks Ginseng in the eye.
That's okay.
Popinjay's and Ginseng's jaws drop.
You can dislike anyone you want. You can even hate them to a point. But what you can't do immediately based on your feelings.
He leaves.
I still hate him.
Me too. Me too.
The bell rings. Popinjay reaches for her wheelchair. All right. And you said, this wasn't the first part of anything. It just is the pilot, right, Willow?
It's an episode. I don't think it works so well as a pilot. It could, but I think it works as an episode. And I'm over here cringing right now because of the so much repetition. Like, no matter how many times I proofread it, the repetition didn't hit me, but it hits me now.
The second you share it.
Out loud does.
Yeah.
That's when it always happens. But yeah, feedback. Remember, we're looking for, is it confusing? Is it clear? And is it boring? So yeah, Joel, did you want to start again?
Yeah, I absolutely will. I like the script. Again, for a similar reason, there's disability, and I love disability. Yeah, I have lost my mouse. Oh, where's my computer do? Yeah, so there was. I mean, you mentioned. Damn it, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. We mentioned the. Sorry, let me try and get that sorted again.
You can give feedback first if you want.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So there was a couple of things that you mentioned, like the repetition, which I imagine are just typos. There were places where I enjoyed the references to the wheelchair and like it getting stuck. There was somewhere where it got stuck in I imagine the soft bit of the ground. And you reference the scar as well. Which sort of gives a hint about what the disability might be, or gives a bit of a reason for the wheelchair. We also had the I'm trying to find the quote. I think it's up here somewhere. But yeah, the wings being what was the word used? They're useless wings, not that one. Her back wings crinkled and atrophied. I kind of like that. It seemed a bit, maybe a bit too medical, particularly the word atrophied. That's a word that's often used within the medical profession, and I'm not sure how many. I feel like I might only know what it really means because I'm disabled. So I'll be interested in if most other people sort of understand what that really means. So I feel I kind of like it, but I kind of don't at the same time. There was another bit, I think when we were under a tree. I can't find it now. But yeah, there were bits that just sort of felt a bit off, and I'm not sure why. Whether that's more because, wait, come back to me. I'm trying to explain it better. Let me collect my thoughts.
I can come back to you.
Can I
Carlos, go ahead.
Okay. About the repetition, you keep referencing how their legs don't work when I think you should have kept it to the first 1 or 2 times. How their legs
Yeah.
don't work, wings don't work, how their chair was sitting right next to them or something, which is probably fine, but it does get a bit repetitive, and it's like it's something that I know by now the first 1 or 2 times, and the entire story, their disability wasn't exactly the focal point. So it just feels a little off to just see it constantly in there when we do know. And there was also where the coach is like yells a slur at this child and also just yells at nobody actually reacts to it. They're reacting to that are we the bullies. Nobody reacts to the coach, and it feels a little off-putting for that to happen, just a bit jarring.
Yeah.
Um,
Going on that, because me and Willow spoke about that earlier, I found out that a lot of people don't actually realise that's a slur, which I found interesting when I learnt that. So I'm not sure that I would question whether it's right to use slurs when actually a lot of people don't know that it is a slur, if that makes sense. Just hadn't told
yeah,
Diana was
I'd
saying.
agree. Especially for children's media where they most definitely will profit. And I will ask, what demographic is for? Like, what age range are you thinking?
Not little kids. I kind of picture this as a cross between like My Little Pony and Little House on the Prairie.
My Little me was for 7-year-olds and this.
Like, it gets into some dark topics. Most episodes are more, I don't know, kid friendly like this, but it's not meant for little kids. It's not meant for little.
Okay.
I'm thinking
Can
in the 10 and up preteen range.
okay. Say how it came across.
It probably came across.
What do you? Oh no. Well, am I gone? Wait, no, I'm not gone.
You're all gone.
You're both like sort of going in and out, so
Yeah, Willie, you cut out just there, so now you're typing. Robot Willow. Oh no. We didn't actually hear you, Robot, but you did stop talking. But
Yeah, it cut out. That was really funny.
damn.
But what I was saying, how it comes across is that it's little kids because of how clear and obvious the message was, which was just like, we don't like these girls for literally no reason. Instead of being like a bit more nuanced, I suppose, it was very upfront about what its message was, and not a bad thing. I just don't know if a 10-year-old would really watch it, I guess, or a 10 to 12-year-old. I guess that's what I'm thinking, and I'm sorry it sounds kind of mean, and I don't want to sound mean. I'm really sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
Willow says those are good points.
that's how it felt. Thank you. Okay.
I wanted to build
Someone
on what
else.
you're
Yeah.
saying because it's like relevant, I think, to where I feel as though this episode touched on a lot of different issues and didn't address them all. It did carry to completion, like you have to be civil to people in general, even if you think they're just abhorrent and someone you would never choose to hang out with. Like you have to be civil to just people in general if they're not actually doing you any harm. And but it also brought up like the thing with the slur, the thing with judging a book by its cover, the thing with like I don't know, throwing a master chef's food in the garbage just because you didn't like 3 people. It like brought up a bunch of things and it took one to the end, but we didn't talk about some other stuff as much as we should have, I feel. And I feel like it should be reserved for a different episode, you know? I think these all deserve a conversation about and a story about. But
There's also something else I'd like to address, which was there was like a moment where the girls glared at Creans glared at Pop and Jin's after the coach was like, yes, you don't slow down for Pop and J to keep up with you. And they were making their lap around the girls were making their lap around again and they were still there. It reminds me of something that happened, which is basically like I get to go in gym class. I get to do this and that. I get to go and I get to like use my phone during class to take pictures of things. And people feel very jealous of that. This reminded me of that, and I was like, that's also another line that wasn't addressed in the way that's like, people feel jealous of disabilities because they get accommodations. And it's pretty interesting to me that it was in here, probably not on purpose, was kind of here. And I don't know, Joel, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I remember I got given a laptop to do stuff in class. I didn't want to share this because I got to type, but they didn't understand it just because I struggled to write. But yeah, that is a good idea for something to post, to write about and have its own storyline's the wrong word, but yeah, its own thing to say about it. Because that is something that happens to disabled children.
Yeah,
I
so
are
that
you
was
finished?
just another thing. Oh, yeah, you can go
Okay.
ahead.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, but it's just as Lasagna was saying, there's a couple bits of repetition and stuff. So we've got a couple times now. There's an uncomfortable position. I mean, we're told on page 1 actually that she's in an uncomfortable position, or a position that doesn't seem right, and we learn because it's because they're disabled. I presume they're paralyzed from excessive a waist down, but yeah, halfway down their back. We have. I think that's quite good. Just attached to a wheelchair that's clear and doesn't feel unnatural in any way. I highlighted a couple of things just where we felt a bit off. So we do have page 6, copy and shades wheelchair sits empty. I assume that's a copy and paste or a typo or something. And then again, we've got the awkward position. And it's just a bit like we don't need reminding that much. I mean, it's good that we're referencing these things, but I think it's important that we're not overdoing it, because otherwise it begins to feel like their entire existence is disabled, and it's important that we're not doing that. But yeah, I do like how we've got multiple different points that we're raising, like the bullying, the use of slurs. But yeah, I think that we're not quite tied up. The storylines aren't quite finished. We've got a lot of storylines for a child's, or a lot of information for a child's episode, or 10-year-old's episode. But nothing's really finished up at this point. So yeah, maybe just moving a storyline to another episode, because is this part of a web series that you've actually started? I think you could just move it to another episode or whatever. And I think that would work better for you.
I have something. I was a little confused about the bullying. What were they doing to bully them, and why?
I have that same question.
Wait, I think we can hear you, Willow.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Woo.
Okay.
Hello, Willow.
All right. The bullying, it's basically between two groups. You have the athletes versus the preens. And the preens are basically your stereotypical mean girls. They're all about how they look and the materialisticness. The point is, though, these two groups,
I was just going to ask, what were they doing to them?
that's the whole point. They weren't actually doing anything. It was, they don't like each other. You got two rough and tumble girls who are fighting and headbutting each other, and the materialistic girls putting glitter on their face, and they don't understand each other, and both groups hate each other. But Popinjay was the only one who actively did something that was bullying. She wanted to leave them out of getting a snack in class. So she was the only one, and so she had to kind of look at her own actions and realize she was the one who was the problem. It wasn't actually them. It was her. She's showing her biases, and she's taking it out on others. And that was the whole point. There was no bullying.
Okay.
This doesn't exactly make me empathize or want to root for our protagonist.
She's a
I
little
think
kid,
it's
a bratty kid. I do want people to empathize with her, but she is the one who is in the wrong and she's the one who is learning.
I get that.
You very much did subvert our expectations because, like, going with stereotypes, I totally expected the preens to be jerks too. And the fact that you pulled out the rug from under us, that was cool.
I didn't expect it because I was sitting there like, oh, it's just them hating girly girls.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's like
Yeah.
also part of the stereotype. Like, that's a societal thing where it's like, ugh, like wanting to preen your wings or whatever. Like, that's so detestable. I would never not like sports. But like, I see where you were
Like
going with it, I
that.
think. Yeah.
Sorry.
Also, this is a fourth grade class of 12 young dragons, right?
Yes.
Did they never interact face to face? They never had to like do a group project or share with each other or like eat lunch next to like.
I guarantee you they have, and no doubt will in the future. But that disliking someone is not the same as bullying them. Just because you dislike them doesn't mean, one, you can accuse them of bullying, or that you can bully them. And yeah, sometimes you have to work with people you don't like or don't understand. You still have to share your kebabs, even though you don't want that person to have your kebabs.
Is there
Was
a reason? Sorry, go ahead.
is there a reason I
don't. Part of me kind of looks at the lesson that the professor is saying and goes, "This is not exactly healthy if taken out of context, especially if this is for children. After all, it's like you may hate this person who may actually be mean to you, but you got to respect them anyway," which I think is a bad lesson.
But they were never mean.
I know these kids were never mean, but you have to understand that children don't have that sort of sense of subtext the way we can look at that, or might not. I'm not to say
Yeah,
kids.
I kind of agree there.
I'm doing a presentation on civility, and believe you me, it's very interesting because if kids are not taught how to be civil and respect each other, even if you have different opinions, wow, that's what I gotta say. Wow.
So Cindy, do you think it's a message a bad message? Say you don't have to like everybody. You do have to be.
You have to respect them. You don't have to agree with them, but you can ask them why they believe what they believe and how they came to that. But as you're saying, these are a bunch of preteens or teens, and they still have to learn that. Whether they learn that at home from their parents, they have to be taught that. So the professor telling them, you can hate them, but you still have to be respectful. Maybe hate might be a little strong. You can have a difference of opinion, and you don't have to perhaps like them, but you do have to be respectful.
Okay, I like that.
I understand, but I'm just saying that you don't have to respect. You can respect if you want, but you shouldn't have to, depending on how that person treats you, if they're abusive or whatever.
Well, in this case, I don't think they were abusive. from what
and they aren't. But children aren't so good with these sorts of differentiations.
No, I think they're better than you think.
Or what
In
if it's a
opinion.
loved one? What if it's a loved one being actually abusive? They may think, well, it's a loved one, so we'll have to respect them like the show told me to.
I
I
think that
don't
children
think
are
so.
a bit more able
Thinking
to distinguish in that. But yeah, what I would say is, no, I don't think that a message that it's okay to hate anyone is a good message for either a child or for an adult, actually. I don't want to, be hating anyone because I think that's really harmful. In my experience, hate has always been a bad thing. You might dislike people, you might not respect, or you might not understand their opinion or agree with them, but I don't think hate is ever good. That's what I believe personally.
Okay.
Merrickson, did you want to give your feedback?
I was hoping to. Is it my turn, or we're still going like down the line?
I want to make sure like everyone has at least a little time, so
Okay,
let's go
okay,
down.
great. So I've kind of known this story for a while, and I think it's interesting how you're kind of exploring it and changing things around. I like that scene where that like sequence where she takes her claws out. It really it was very visceral. I think it made me relate to. It's like the same way as like flexing a muscle in this world. It's like these dragons. They I don't know. They whip out their claws. It's almost like um their weapons, right? So I really like those little details here. Um, I don't know if I agree that this is for like preteens 10 to 12 because it still kind of feels like sort of a Y7 Cartoon Network kind of show. Um, I mean, granted, 10 to 12 is like kids who watch Simpsons and I don't know, Bob's Burgers and all that. So I think this is more Y7. I mean, I haven't read the new iterations here, but that's how I feel about it. I love the concept of the preens, but I think you could delve just a little bit more into what attractiveness in this world, like um, not just putting glitter on their face because that sounds very human, But I think there are clever ways for you to sort of um, to show that in the dragon world, like maybe instead of fixing their hair, they fix their wings and they paint their scales, like little things like that. That I think that would really bump this up into like fully realizing what the world is and give us an idea of how this world works. It doesn't have to just be like, oh, dragons putting on makeup. It's different dragonesque or draconic stuff. Yeah, as Lasagna just suggested there. Yeah. Yeah, my main thing was it feels like Y7 to me. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Merrickson. And did everyone in the list above Merrickson, like, did you get through the meat of your feedback? Or is it okay to keep going
Yeah,
down?
I think I got.
Okay. Very good. Then Nacho, did you have any feedback?
Yeah. So, yeah, like Merrick's and I also had a chance to read other kind of versions of this, or like one different stories with the same character, and it's really cool to see like your development as a writer. Like you have lots of great scenes that are, where there's somebody who wants something in the scene and they're trying something, and then you're ending with a little bit of a surprise, and like it like the scenes are kind of working or they're interested. And I like, yeah, the idea that Poppin' Jay, her character feels a lot different from the, previous script that we read, where she was sort of like maybe a little bit oblivious or something, but like in this, she's actually a little bit naughty, which I like that she's not, it feels like a different, like a more three-dimensional character, I guess. I think the biggest note that I have is just to do a 12-minute pilot, like even let's say just a 1-hour pilot or a 30-minute pilot, like the structure has to be so much tighter than a feature film. You have a lot more room to kind of like sort of explore and have scenes that maybe are just like fun, but don't really fit the, you know, like aren't really driving this story as like with a 12-minute short, like you have no space at all to like every single, like the structure has to be like so tight for a 12-minute short. So, or 12-minute, like a web, you know, or a short animated episode. So I think the biggest issue with this is just overall structure of the episode. Like we need to see opening, like maybe you've got a couple pages to really set up your act one, like maybe like 3 pages or something. That's your whole act one. It's going to be like almost just a few pages, all you have. You want to see like Popinjay's normal world. And, you know, even if this is something like it's not the pilot, but like it's episode 2 or 3 or whatever, like still whatever is the normal world at that moment, right? And introduced, like we need to see the preens doing something that, you know, makes like add to Popinjay, I don't know what, something that, you know, kind of like drives her. That's the inciting incident. Now you just have a few pages to do. Like, I think I was really wanting to see Popinjay. It seemed like she was going to, she had a plan to get even with these, you know, like after the teacher told her, you gotta share, you have to make for everybody. And then she's like, well, what if we do something bad, or we're the bullies? And she started cooking and getting Jujubee's help. And there was a little bit of lack of clarity there, like what exactly she's doing. But like, I was expecting her to, I thought she was making kebabs with some kind of hot sauce or something to like get revenge on the preens. And that's what I was really expecting. And then it was just nothing. She just gave them normal, you know, she didn't really do anything to get back at them. Right. And so like, I felt like that was the big scene I was expecting to see, like around page, you know, 11 or 10, or maybe something happens. And then she's like, you know, oh my God, I see like preen girl is, you know, just lost her mom, or I don't know, whatever. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out there, but like some reason why she learns a lesson or she changes her mind. And maybe then she eats the kebab that's, you know, poisoned or whatever, or, you know what I mean? Like somehow she's kind of turns it around or learns her lesson at the very last minute. And then, you know, you have like 1 page sort of like epilogue, right? So they're just this kind of short compressed format. Like there's just structure has to be absolutely rock solid. But if it's longer, you know, you have a little bit more room. Like there's some cool moments here that I really like, but it's just like that has to be driving everything, right? And I guess I think page 6, you have about half a page that you could probably cut down to like 1 sentence. It's kind of like where they're under the tree and they're eating the kebabs. Like that could be just, you just don't have the time in this short format. And a couple things. I think, you know, someone brought up the opening, like the description where her bat wings crinkled and atrophied, droop unnatural. I really like that. I like that a lot. The only thing I would do, I would cut the word bat, because that just sort of throws up a different image. And there's, you know, I mean, I understand a wing that's like a bat wing, but I would just say wings. Like that's just a little bit more clear because she's a dragon, she's not a bat. And yeah, just a couple things. Like I'll share just my line notes, but a record spins on a phonograph. We just said that this is a medieval kitchen. So, you know, I don't understand what we're looking at. Maybe you want to describe this as like a medieval style phonograph or something, or just a little bit more clarity, I guess. And then the other thing, this is a smaller note. Like first I would work on the structure, and then I would go back and just look at Popinjay's and Sheila's and Ginseng's dialogue and just really try to give them really clear, distinct voices. So they sound like, you know, really different characters from one another. And there was something where Popinjay was going to confess to her mom on page 9, silence, you did what? Like, it felt like we missed the confession there. And then Jujubee says something, or Jujubee cackles as his claw steps run away. I didn't understand what that means, claw steps running away. And then on 10, she's, getting ready to do, I thought she was planning her revenge to make some kind of poison bobs or something. She's got a problem. I thought, okay, the problem is she can't reach the stove. She needs Jujubee's help or something. I would just be a little bit more clear. Like, this is the real important moment. Like, this is like where she's actually, this is like your act 2. Like, she's really doing the, whatever, her big, plan or whatever. So just a little bit clearer, like what she's trying to do. And I like that she uses different tactics to get Jujubee to help her. That's really cool. Like, nicely done. But yeah, look forward to reading more.
I was hoping there'd be a little hummus in there. That the preteens really like hummus, but Pop and J crew hide it for themselves. And maybe if the other girls would like some, they'd put something, chili pepper or something in it that make it too hot for them.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Just some more tricks happening, more trickery. They realize they're the bullies.
I have like a little context to this, but like I was just thinking, if you have kebabs and a dragon, maybe have some way where the kebab ends up messed up and whatever is on the kebab ends up skewered on a horn of a dragon,
That'd be
and
funny.
then like they awkwardly have to slide it off their horn, and it like because it's like they
Yeah,
toss it gets like
they're
tossed in
clever.
the air, and then the meat like is flying, and they're trying to stab it, but they ended up getting it on their horn or something. I don't know. And then they like awkwardly like slide it off their horn onto a plate.
And feed it to your feed your horn kebab to your class.
Yeah, I mean, I again, I'm sorry I don't have the full context of this, but like that
No,
was
it's
a funny
really
visual.
funny.
I like the visual, and I think like when I think of dragons and I think of kebabs, like anytime I think of like a creature that has like a horn like that and they're like able to skewer things, like I think that's funny, like a narwhal skewering things with its horn or anything, like there's fun visuals there.
Narwhal is a tooth.
I mean, that's true, but regardless, it'll stab through something. Like you could put a kebab and then, but yeah.
All right. Let's see. Roman Elliot, it's your turn. Did you say everything you had to say just there? Or?
Yeah, I also I don't know, people were saying like other things that they can do, and I was like, like yeah, shining the scales and like picking the teeth out with their claws and like, maybe like shining the scales like they have some sort of rough sandpapery kind of thing to like shine it or like file down their nails or something. I don't know. Those are random thoughts, but yeah.
They could have glue on eyelashes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they would know what eyelashes are since there's like mammals in this world. But would it be fashionable for like dragons to have eyelashes?
Could be.
It's fashionable for us to wear animal fur. Why not wear animal eyelash?
Yes, that's true. That's a terrifying thought. Like removing the eyelash hide from a Pegasus and then putting it anyway.
Luxurious.
Yeah. Sarah Bell, were you here for the reading of the script just now?
I was not.
Okay, that's fine. Elliot, you can use your mic, or if you have any feedback, you can text in the message or in the chat as well, and I will read it out loud. But for now, I know I typed a lot of critique in the chat and also threw out like a bunch of weird ideas, which like it's up to you like whether any of that is useful. And I also enjoy seeing like the world of Pop and J evolve and like the world building and the characters. I always loved from the beginning that Pop and J is no shrinking violet, like she's sort of a little hellion. Always loved that. And I like her interaction with her friend Jin saying I think they're partners in crime. I do like that aspect. We've talked about it so much already. The thing I'll finish up with is I really want to feel what Pop and Jay and Ginseng are feeling. Because as we mentioned, like the preens from the outside very much seem to fit like the hyper feminine, like mean girl bullies. They're like, oh no, they're too good for the main character, and like they're jerks and they're sassy and they're condescending or whatever. But that alone was not enough to make me feel the same way about them that Ginseng and Pop and Jade do. I don't know if that's even your goal, but the reason I would like that is so that when Professor Lanster comes in at the end and says, like, you know, you don't have to like everyone, but you do have to be civil at least. So, but yeah, I just really, really am vouching for it, like one significant interaction at least between the preens and our protagonists. But yeah. But I like to see...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nah, I wasn't gonna say anything more really.
Okay, well, I just said that if you want an example of a dragon that has eyelashes, you have the dragon from Shrek. So it's definitely doable and it works well.
I mean, how do I know she didn't steal those?
Maybe if you did, who's to say? I mean, I'm not gonna judge. I think they look natural. I'm not gonna criticize her.
Yeah. She could be like an Instagram influencer. Anyway. But yeah, very much looking forward to seeing more of this script, Willow, if you want to share for next time. But yeah, I love how the characters are coming along as well. I always love how you make the interactions with the siblings, like you don't pretty them up for like media consumption, like you show them as they are, like would sell you to the devil for one corn chip. It's very much that sort of thing. So, love that. But yeah, thanks for sharing it with us, Willow. I hope some of the feedback helps. And yeah, and good job reading, everyone, and giving your feedback. Let's see, we did have a bonus script lined up for today because we only had the 2 script submissions. This is my passive-aggressive signs to submit your scripts and let us read them. Give us content. Feed me, Seymour. But yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking about reading half of this script tonight just because, I don't know, reading through the whole features, I feel like can get to be sort of a slog near the end, to the point where we don't really have coherent thoughts on it. We're just saying, oh god, that took a long time and I had to talk a lot. So I was thinking we could just read to page 55. But yeah, this script is called Black Kite. It was on the blacklist. Nacho, you like had more details about it earlier. I lost where it was in the channel.
Yeah, so this is like, I would say for me this was right up there with like Ravenswood. It's one of my favorites from this year. It's, yeah, let me read the description here. So it's called Black Kite by Dan Bulla. After a devastating wildfire wipes out a small California town, a teenage girl is missing and presumed dead. A year later, an obsessive mother and cynical arson investigator begin to suspect that she's still alive and in the clutches of a predator.
All right, sweet. Well, we created character packages again because of how many characters features tend to have. But, Joel, did you have the color-coded script?
Yes, I do.
Woo! And the way I did it, or we did it, was the lines I'm gonna read have no highlights. So like if you see a name on the dialogue that doesn't have any color on it, it's definitely not yours, it's mine. But outside that, we had 5 packets, I believe.
Yeah. Do you want
And
me to,
so,
since I have the list, I'll write down who's doing which package.
okay.
I'll leave the casting to you. I'll just write it for you.
Okay, thank you.
So do we just go into the site that you provided here, the HTTPS?
No, it's still the stream. Still in the stream.
Yeah, the script I posted earlier, that actually was the wrong script. It doesn't have the color coding. So nobody opened the PDF that I put in Table Reads info. I deleted
That's a
it
good
just
point.
now.
Does this one have color coding? Yes, that's okay.
But yeah, what were all the colors?
So we have yellow, green, red, peach, and blue.
Yellow, green, red, peach, blue.
I've got them here because I've got all the characters as well. So I'll just
Oh, okay.
I'll type it out for you. I'll send a message for
Okay.
you.
Thank you. But yeah,
So are we doing Esmeralda's daughter then?
No, it's the one
you
on the
did that
stream.
first.
It's the one that is on the stream. Can you see my video stream?
Let me see. Off in the corner, Table Reads, Joe Tortilla.
That makes me laugh every time. Can you
Yeah, it's
see?
Black Kite.
Yeah. Can you see it says Black Kite?
Hold on, let me see.
If you press watch
Click on the
stream.
tortilla.
I see Blacklist, but that's not
No,
what
not
we're
that one.
looking at,
So
right?
it's in.
No.
It's if you're in the voice channel, you need to click on watch stream.
Oh, I see it. Black Kite. Yeah.
Yes, that's it precisely. All right. Agree when you're ready to start casting, and I will write them down.
Okay, good. Yes. Who would like to do the yellow characters?
I
Anyone
don't
for
care whatever you
yellow?
need, I will do.
All right, I'm gonna give you the yellow characters.
The yellow characters? You mean the Simpsons?
I mean, those aren't in this universe. I don't know. They might make a brief
Oh,
cameo.
sorry.
But
Minions, right, the Minions.
The minions.
Yeah.
Okay, if not the Minions, then I guess we can go with Lego people. That's fine.
Oh, that's my preferred yellow characters. But green,
Yeah,
who would like the
I
green
suppose you're right.
characters? Green,
Plankton?
environmental, recyclable. I can't even say words. Please, God, someone do the
Shrek?
green characters.
So, Plankton, Shrek, and the Hulk.
You could be them, Roman. You could be those characters in spirit.
Okay, so, sorry, what color are we talking?
We're
That's
talking
green.
about the green highlighted characters in the script. Whenever
Okay,
you
is the
see
script
green,
posted or is it just in the stream?
it's just in the stream.
Okay, is there a lot of green characters?
Looks.
'Cause
All
I
the
could-
packets have lots of lines.
Yeah, they're all fairly equally split.
Okay, I'm not sure if I will do it because I might have to leave in, and I don't want to like leave it hanging. So,
Oh, okay, got it.
but it depends. Like if it was shorter, I might. But I'm sorry, I might have to go. So that would be the only reason.
That's okay.
I apologize.
Yeah. Let's see,
Actually,
we have
I'm
like
unfortunately going to have to go as well. Sorry.
no. Oh man, sad to see you go,
Oh,
Dan.
wait.
For a second talent.
If everyone's leaving, then maybe I'll read.
Yeah,
Yes.
you guys don't have to stay.
Yeah,
Don't
you
go
got this, please.
Have a good read.
Sonia, you got this. Please do it.
Yeah.
Do it for me.
It's not really high stakes since like no one submitted this script. It's just something off the blacklist that like people have pre-approved that it has merit. So
How many colors are there?
Yeah, I'm.
There's only 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, but yeah.
That's okay.
But yeah, if anyone, Carlos C, I assume you're not using your mic right now, so if all the candidates were to do it, would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Willow. I'm gonna give you the green characters.
Was it Roman
Trust
doing
them
that?
with all. What?
Who was
Oh no,
Roman
Roman's
doing
gonna have to leave at some point.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But yeah. Who wants to do the red characters?
I will do red.
Thank you, Joel. Now we have peach and
I don't want
blue
to leave you guys
left.
hanging, so that's why.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I be blue?
Yeah, thank
You
you,
can be blue.
Sonia. And yeah, nobody
getting
feel
hot
bad if
takes
you
here.
can't. Let's see. Yeah, we
Can I
have
have to
one.
whisper? I'm getting ice cream. I don't want to yell in attention.
There's gonna be a lot of yelling in this script. Scrolling through, there were a lot of all caps. So, and then Peach. Anyone for the role of Peach?
If Paul was here, that'd be. Oh, he used to have an avatar.
Oh yeah, I remember. Princess Peach. Nacho, you might. I don't want to get you. Okay, yeah, I was about to say you're probably tied up right now.
I'm here. If you need me.
Oh, you're okay. Got it. Do you want to do the Peach parts, Nacho?
Whatever you need.
Woo! Thank you. Oh yes, yeah. I think the most anybody has in a single part is 6 parts. I have 12 parts. I'm gonna have to really dig deep into my lack of voice acting talent. So
Tap into your inner Dan.
channeling you, Dan. But yeah, thank you, Joel, for posting that. And yes, okay. Black Kite. Exterior, Telegee National Forest, California, day. The forest is burning. Thousands of acres on fire. Douglas firs, California reds, ponderosa pines, hundreds of feet tall, engulfed in flames. We can almost feel the heat on our faces. Wood snaps so loud it sounds like breaking the bones of the gods. A B-747 supertanker flies overhead, dumping 18,000 gallons of water on the flames. It does nothing. Exterior meadow floor, continuous. Firefighters walk shoulder to shoulder straight towards the inferno, heavy boots trotting through a meadow full of wilted yellow wildflowers. Up ahead, the brush rustles, then ripples in a wave right towards them. Dozens of small animals burst forth. Mice, squirrels, chipmunks, running like mad in the opposite direction. One of the firefighters looks down and sees snakes slithering between his feet, racing away from the fire. Exterior, Telegee National Forest day. Does anyone know at the top of your head how to say it? Gonna sound.
I think it's Telegee.
Okay, great. Exterior Telegee National Forest day. A second super tanker swoops over the trees, dropping a payload of bright red fire retardant across the forest. Through the red shroud, we see that the fire rages on. Suddenly, a bird, dripping with fire, punches through the smoke up into the dirty blue sky. It flaps desperately for a moment, then goes stiff and plummets towards the earth. As it falls, we hear a blood-curdling sound, a screeching digital scramble, and suddenly we cut to a picture of a girl, 11 years old, freckles, bright eyes, big smile. She wears a soccer jersey and holds a soccer ball on her knee. The picture is on the back of an iPhone lying face down on a desk. A woman picks it up. This is Jessie, 40s, blonde hair, dark roots, small town pretty. She looks at the phone and sees an incoming emergency alert. And that's Cindy. Are you there, Cindy?
Cindy.
Shit.
Jessie looks up, revealing that we're inside Monk's Insurance, a small local insurance office. California bear flag hanging on the wall. Half a dozen employees looking at their phones. They're all getting the same message: mandatory evacuations. Moments later, people grab their things and head out the door. Jesse and Cindy, a co-worker, are the last ones out.
I'm happy to give you a ride.
That's all right. Ken's on his way. Although $10 says he stops for coffee first.
They laugh, and Jesse heads out the front door. Cindy stays behind and starts setting the security alarm. Suddenly, Jesse bursts back in.
Sorry.
Jesse's desk. Her iPhone is still on the desk. Picture of her daughter face up. Almost forgotten, but not quite. Jesse runs up and snatches the phone off the desk. Exterior street, moments later. Jessie stands in front of the office, alone, texting on her phone. A powerful gust of wind takes her by surprise. She squints and turns away, battered by dust. Once it dies down, she looks up and sees a single ember floating in the air, a tiny glowing speck. It zigzags downwards, hits the asphalt, and goes cold. She looks at it strangely. A moment later, a green SUV rolls up. Interior green SUV, moments later. Jesse's husband Ken, 40s, is behind the wheel. Jesse looks at the empty cup holder.
No coffee? I'm impressed.
Oh, believe me, I thought about it. You talked to Wendy?
Yeah, I just texted her.
What did she say?
Nothing yet. I'll text her again.
Jessie pulls out her phone and starts texting.
One set of fires on the other side of the method. Not even close.
Okay, good.
Let's not go nuts packing stuff, okay? I don't want to have to take the plants and the TV and the...
Suddenly, Jessie stops texting. Ken's voice fades into the background. She hears something else, a distant dull roar, like the sound of the ocean. She looks out the window, and her eyes go wide.
Oh my trailer park!
What?
The trailer park's on fire!
Out her window, far off in the distance, we see smoke coming up from a group of mobile homes, orange flames flickering on the roofs like birthday candles.
Holy shit.
Ken steps on it. Interior green SUV, moments later. They turn onto their street and their faces go white.
No.
My God!
Their block is already on fire. Ken guns it down the street, zipping past several burning homes before slowing down.
Oh my God, our house!
Their little ranch house is completely on fire. Ken throws the car in park at the base of the driveway next to their mailbox. A wooden largemouth bass with a red flag on it. He starts to get out of the car.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna grab the computer. It'll take less than 2 seconds.
Jesse grabs his arm, hard, forcing him to turn and look her in the eyes.
Ken, fuck the computer! We gotta get out of here!
Ken snaps out of it, gets back in the car. Exterior Ken and Jesse's house, continuous. As the green SUV heads off, we remain behind with the bass mailbox, mouth open in a silent scream. In the background, Ken and Jesse's house burns to the ground. Interior green SUV, moments later. Ken white-knuckles it. Jesse is in shock.
What did Wendy say?
Jessie looks at her phone.
Nothing. I'll text her again.
Call her.
Okay.
Jessie dials her daughter. Call failed. As Jessie dials again, she glances out the window and sees fire snaking along the power lines next to them. Such a strange sight. Then,
What the fuck?
Ken sees something up ahead. Jessie turns and sees it too. A massive traffic jam. Exterior intersection, moments later. The main intersection is downtown Avalon. It is jam-packed with hundreds of cars, bumper to bumper, barely moving. All of them trying to get on the only highway out of town. This intersection is designed to handle the routine traffic of a town of 20,000 people. But suddenly all of them are in their cars at once, and it's chaos. A fireman, 30s, stands next to a fire engine on the far side of the intersection, directing traffic.
Move.
That's not
Move. Keep going. Keep going.
Ken and Jessie try to cut through and go straight. The fireman blocks their way and waves them to the left.
No, 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 that way.
Jessie leans out the window.
gotta get to Ridgeview. Our daughter goes to Ridgeview.
We already got the high schools evacuated. You got to take care of yourself. Come on, keep moving.
Where did they take the kids? My phone's not.
Wah! The car behind them lays on the horn.
Lady, you got to move. Come on, come on, come on.
Right then, the fireman sees something behind them.
What the hell?
We follow his look. A dozen nurses in pink pants and floral shirts are pushing disabled patients in cots and wheelchairs towards the intersection.
Hey, what are you doing?
A Hispanic nurse pushing a quadriplegic man in a wheelchair rushes towards him.
Help! We need help!
You guys got to go back right now and get in a vehicle.
We can't, no. Bus gone. Bus on fire.
What?
Suddenly, a scream. Everyone turns. On the far side of the intersection, we see that a KFC restaurant is in flames. The fire's upon us. There's a moment of stillness, and then the fireman turns back to the cars and bellows out as loud as he can.
Go! Go!
Inside the cars, people are panicking. They lurch forward, but only move inches at a time. There's nowhere to go.
Go!
Interior green SUV continuous. The car behind Jesse and Ken bangs into their bumper, and their heads snap forward. Ken whips around and screams at the guy behind him.
You hit my car, asshole.
And we gotta go.
I know.
The fire is right there.
I know. There's nowhere to go.
Exterior intersection continuous. Several cars drive off-road, trying to slip around the traffic. A Camry leads the way, driving over the shoulder and down an embankment. Right away, it gets stuck in the gravel, tires spinning frantically in place. Trucks and SUVs try to follow suit and immediately get stuck behind the trapped Camry. Bwah! They all lay on their horns. Interior green SUV continuous. Jesse looks around the chaos. Fire blows out the windows of the KFC. Look at it. People abandon their cars in the middle of the road and start running on foot down the highway. The fireman helps a nurse lift a woman with no legs into the fire engine. An SUV plows into the back of the Camry, trying to push it out of the way.
Ken, we gotta do something.
I know.
Ken creeps the car forward. Horns are blaring in all directions. Dark smoke is billowing up behind them.
If we don't get out of here, we're gonna die.
I know. I'm trying.
Ken hits the gas and rams in between two abandoned cars in front of them. His side mirror snaps off.
Come on.
Their SUV is now wedged between the two cars. He stomps on the gas, but they're not going anywhere.
Come on, motherfucker.
Suddenly, they break through.
Good job, babe. Good job.
Ken carefully weaves around several other abandoned cars. Now they're going 5, 10, 50 miles per hour. And finally, they break through onto the highway. Jesse looks out the back window. A handful of lucky cars are getting through behind them, but dozens of vehicles are still stuck back in the smoke. Pop, pop, pop. One by one, tires on the trapped cars explode from the heat. The fireman continues to load people into the fire engine. A moment later, they're swallowed up by thick black smoke.
Oh my God.
She looks away, too awful to watch. Exterior Route 44 continuous. Their SUV zips past a wooden sign on the side of the road, printed in a yellow National Parks font. Welcome to Avalon. The sign is already in flames. Interior green SUV, moments later. The world around them is on fire. On both sides of the highway, the forest burns red and orange like lava. Smoke so heavy it looks like the middle of the night. Embers pelt the windshield as they push faster. Ken stares straight down the road up ahead and grips the steering wheel tightly. Suddenly he looks at his hands. They're covered in something black and sticky. He rubs his fingers together, but it won't come off.
What's that?
A beat.
Ken, what is that?
The steering wheel is melting.
Oh my God.
He grabs the wheel tight and drives faster. Interior green SUV, moments later. Ken and Jesse are dripping with sweat. Smoke is starting to filter inside the car through the vents. Jesse covers her mouth and looks out the window. 3 deer are bounding through the fire in the same direction as them. leaping through the flames. She watches them, sees the fear in their eyes. Then
What is that?
Jesse turns back and sees that straight ahead of them is a white curtain of smoke hanging across the road.
I don't know.
Their car is headed straight forward. There's nothing they can do but drive into the smoke. Everything is white. It's quiet, eerie, like passing into the afterlife. Suddenly they punch through to the other side of the fire. They're back in the land of the living. They can see the world around them again. It's the early afternoon. The sun is a sickly yellow disk in the sky. News helicopters circle around like vultures. Jesse breathes a huge sigh of relief.
Oh, thank God. Good job, babe. Good job.
She looks out the window at the field beside them. Right then, the 3 deer leap through the smoke. They're safe too. The first 2 deer spring on ahead. The fawn bounces along behind them when suddenly a bobcat springs out of the brush and takes the fawn to the ground. Jesse gasps.
My God.
What?
Jesse looks out the back window, straining to see what happens next, but they're already too far away. She turns back and looks straight ahead.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
They speed down the highway. Exterior Fool's Gold Fairgrounds later. A large lot designed for local fairs, cheap festivals, and swap meets has been temporarily converted into an evacuation center for evacuees of the Avalon fire. Exterior Fairgrounds, backlot moments later. School buses from all the local schools are parked in a line. Teenagers mill around the parking lot, laughing, flirting, waiting for their parents. Jesse and Ken find the Ridgeview High School buses and go over to their daughter's principal, Mrs. Windsor, 50s.
This Wednesday.
She turns, a look of surprise on her face.
Hi.
We're here to pick up Wendy.
Mrs. Windsor looks at them strangely.
I don't understand.
We just got here. Do we have to sign her out or
Wendy was sick today.
what?
You called this morning and said she was sick.
Eat.
I'm sorry. You're thinking of someone else. I'm Jesse Hund.
I know. You called this morning and told me you had a fever.
No, I didn't.
Well, somebody did.
Jesse closes her eyes, realizing.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So what you're saying is she's not on this bus.
No.
Jesse pulls out her phone and calls Wendy. Call failed.
So which bus is she on?
She's not on any of these buses.
Jesse looks around the fairgrounds. The world spins.
See, look at our list. I have her down as sick.
What are you saying? She wasn't at school at all today?
No.
Oh my God.
Jesse rushes over to a group of high school kids by the buses. They're quiet now, all watching her in horror.
Does anybody know where Wendy is?
They all lower their eyes.
I'm Wendy Hund's mom. Does anybody know where Wendy is?
Finally, she finds a boy she knows. She grabs him.
Ethan, where's Wendy? You're not going to let her get her in trouble. I just want to know where she is.
That's Willow, I believe. I'm sorry, I don't know. Jesse pulls out her phone and... Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh,
Jesse pulls out her phone and dials. Call failed.
Come on.
She tries again and again and again. Call failed.
Come on.
Exterior to Tuolegi National Forest, eastern side continuous. A car cruises down a 2-lane road deep in Tuolegi Park. We're on the eastern side of the forest, safe for now. Hey Wendy, look. Interior car, continuous. We see a girl riding shotgun. Wendy, 17, several years older than she is in the picture of her mom's iPhone case. Faded freckles, distant green eyes. Hang on, is this bit peach or is it...
It's Peach.
Yes, boy.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Wendy,
What?
watch this shit.
Sitting in the back is Eli, 17. He takes a bottle and throws it out of the window of the moving car. It hits a tree, glass exploding everywhere. Wendy and Eli
Jesus
The driver, Kaylee, 17, looks at him in the rearview mirror.
Wait, what was that?
He threw a bottle out the window.
What the fuck, Eli? You can't do that out here.
And yet, I did.
Wendy laughs. Kaylee shakes her head and steps on the gas. Exterior, the flats, later. Wendy sits on a massive flat granite boulder, looking out over a meadow of dead wildflowers, AirPods in her ears, listening to music. Behind her stands a grove of 100-foot tall sugar pine trees. In the distance, she sees Kaylee and Eli vaping on a rock ledge. Two of them start awkwardly making out. Wendy rolls her eyes and shakes her head. She turns up her music and lays down on the boulder. On Wendy. Eyes closed, soaking up the sun, dead to the world. All we can hear is her music. Suddenly, a single ember floats across the frame. A moment later, a second ember flitters through the air and touches down on the granite beside her. It glows. Suddenly, a hot breeze sweeps across the flats, and now dozens of embers swirl around her, landing on her face.
Oh, what the fuck?
Wendy sits up and yanks out her AirPods. Suddenly sees something.
Holy shit. You guys! You guys!
The nacho.
What?
Wendy scrambles to her feet and runs towards the others.
There's a fire! There's a fire!
Reverse to reveal the grove of sugar pines behind them. The treetops are ablaze. Exterior trail, moments later. Jesse, Eli, and Kaylee sprint up the trail back towards the trailhead. Wendy looks at her phone. No reception.
Do you have any bars?
No.
Dude. If they evacuate the school, we're in deep shit.
Right then, Kaylee rounds a bend in the trail and freezes. Wendy and Eli come to a stop beside her and see her car is on fire.
Whoa.
Wendy looks around and sees that the road they came in on is already cut off by fire.
Guys, we gotta get out of here.
My dad is gonna kill me.
Kaylee! Come on, we have to go.
She grabs Kaylee's hand and pulls her away. Exterior Fool's Gold Fairground, same. Jesse and Ken stand beneath the cheap blue tent with Mrs. Windsor, Eli's mom, Kaylee's parents, and 2 state troopers. I think that's lasagna.
Hello. I just finished my ice cream. No. Fuck. Sorry. No, of course we don't know where they are. They were ditching school.
It's nacho.
Okay. Call in these locations. We already have teams spread out looking for blah, blah,
Wait.
blah.
I think.
Oh, did I skip a page? Oh, sorry.
What page are we
Wrong
on?
page. I understand, ma'am. But are there places they normally go? Places we should look first?
Beat. Nobody says a word. Then
The bowling alley.
everyone looks at her.
One time I caught Kaylee and Wendy there in the parking lot.
The state trooper lays a map out on the table.
Can you point it out for me?
Jesse nods, points.
Okay. Do they ever go into the park?
Jesse looks back down at the map. Her focus slowly shifts from Avalon towards Telegi National Park. A huge green expanse, 166 square miles, 20 times the size of their small town. It just keeps going and going and going.
Ma'am?
Yeah, sometimes they go there.
The state troopers exchange a glance.
Okay. We'll call in these locations. We already have teams spread out looking for blah, blah,
He
blah.
keeps talking. Blah, blah, blah. He keeps talking, but Jesse's not listening. She's just staring at the map, staring at big green Telugu forest, the size of it, the hopeless enormity of it. All right. Is it okay if we stop here? My family needs
Sure.
something.
Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah. I think
Do you
it's
guys
if you need to go, I can just help people just host a little discussion about what we read if that's works for you. Great.
Okay, that would be good. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Sorry about that.
This was a great script, and thank you.
Yeah, I really feel the tension. It's definitely
Oh, it's burning. No pun intended. It's a burning tension.
definitely. But yeah, I'm gonna also hand out script coins later. But thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Also
Yeah.
animation group tomorrow, and also fantasy workshop tonight. Bye.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
yay.
Okay.
All that
Thank
See you.
good.
Great. So yeah, so we'll just open it up for discussion. Any thoughts on the
Yeah.
opening? So we just read like 15, 16, yeah, like 16 pages, and it just flew by, right?
Had a good tension.
It definitely did,
build-up.
yes.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
everyone was a very great actor for this. I was very impressed with you, Cindy. That was great. That's kind
Hey,
of
it's
Yeah,
what
and Joel did American accent. I love it.
Thank you
I
very
didn't
much.
even
I've been
notice.
picking
Oh my
up
God,
from you
you're
guys.
American. Yeah.
It's like, I know, can't do anything
Bill,
right
you-
now. I'm trying, honey. Love it, love it. Yeah, great performances. So okay, so let me just ask you. Let's here, and I'll I don't know if it helps. I'll just show the first page or whatever. But what? Just let's just look at the first couple pages. Like how does this writer grab the reader? Like how does he grab the interest of the reader right away? Right? Like just what's happening in the first paragraph, right?
the forest is burning. They sort of really push you right into it, like it's on fire.
Yeah. And look at all these kinds of sort of this is something that can like thousands of acres on fire, right? That's not even a sentence, it's just a fragment, right? You can just use little and you mix it up a little bit, and then the pattern, right? Douglas firs, California reds, ponder. I mean, I kind of know what those are, but I don't know exactly like what all those trees look like. But it's like creating like a feeling like, wow, okay, hundreds of feet tall, engulfed in flames. We can almost feel the heat on our faces, right? Like it's sort of, again, people say, don't use we see, but this works here, right? We feel the heat on our faces. Wood snaps so loud. It sounds like breaking the bones of the gods. Like it's kind of poetic, and then a B-747 supertanker flies overhead, dumping 18,000 gallons of water on the flames. It does nothing, right? Just right there, like that's kind of interesting little button on that little scene, right? And like imagine if the it does nothing was part of the previous paragraph, like it wouldn't be as strong, right? It's like breaking it out into its own line just by itself. It does nothing like that. Does that feel kind of interesting, or like, I don't know, what do you guys think about just the opening?
It really grabs attention, so I enjoyed it. I was sort of doing something at the
I
time.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Like in the entire opening, I just felt like the tension was just already at like 100, but they kept pushing it even more to the point where like you were like slowly being engulfed by like everything that was happening, and like you could feel. And then like the biggest like punch was like when you realized that it was so hot that the steering wheel was melting. Like that like sent it over the edge for me. I was like, okay, this is like they're literally gonna like are they gonna like melt it off, is their skin gonna melt off? Like it was that visceral, and I was like, this is like gripping and intense, and like like it
Mhm.
was so everything was like short and snappy to the point, without like necessarily being like super short, but like they were fairly short little blocks, but like, it was all precise and everything was very like, I don't know, it just felt like no word was out of
Mhm.
place.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's masterfully composed, right? Masterful craft, right? Just the person who wrote this is,
Hmm.
like just just I mean the line, we can almost feel the heat on our faces. Like you shouldn't be able to feel heat in watching a movie, right? But it helps the reader to just get immersed in this moment, and you're feeling like, I mean, we like, the roar of the flames and like the cracking, the wood snaps so loud, like it's this so intense, right? And then we get, and again, it's lots of fragments, right? You don't need to use like complete sentences, right? Like, heavy boots trotting through a meadow, right? Um,
And also, I think that us having seen what's gone on, let's say in California with all the fires and fires across the country, and we've seen what this looks like in our recent past. So we can link into that experience and that thought. So that helps us say that even closer.
yeah, yeah, dozens of small animals burst forth, mice, squirrels, chipmunks, right? Fragment, running like mad in the opposite direction, fragments, right? We're not even saying necessarily the subject, but we're getting it. Like one of the firefighters looks down and sees snakes slithering between his feet, racing away. Whoa. So every little moment, it's kind of ending on a little surprise or a little button, like, right? Like even though this is kind of part of one dramatic scene, each of these little sort of moments, or these little, each thing ends with a little surprise, right? Like, isn't it kind of weird? Like you're seeing a firefighter and then you look down and you see a whole bunch of snakes between his feet. That's kind of strange, right? Like, and the snakes are even running away from the fire. Like, whoa. And then we just cut to this other scene, and, now it's getting more crazy. A bird.
I
Oh,
was
sorry,
kind
go
of
ahead.
expecting like the firefighter to like properly squeal when he saw the snake. Like,
Yeah.
imagine snakes like squirting. What's the word? Like slithering around your feet, and it's like,
Yeah.
ah.
Exactly. I mean, that would, freak me the hell out, right? And then the bird, dripping with fire, punches through the smoke into the dirty blue sky. I mean, this is just such a beautiful, like, poetry in the line, but it's also like vivid and like just powerful. Like a bird is on fire, flaps desperately for a moment. So we are in this. So you understand how, like, when we sit down to watch a movie, like sometimes the movie might flit around between different characters, or we follow like an animal, or we follow a rock in outer space or whatever. But we, in this moment, so first, we are this firefighter looking down and seeing the snake, right? And then the bird, we are the bird. We're rooting for this bird. It flaps desperately for a moment, right? And then it goes stiff and plummets toward the earth. Oh man, that's, we are rooting for that bird, right? And then it falls and we hear this blood curdling sound, and it's a screeching digital scramble. Okay, that's weird, right? It's another little surprise, right? And we cut to picture of a girl, 11 years old, freckles, bright eyes, big smile. So totally different thing going on here, right? Just like a happy, girl with a soccer jersey, and, it's an iPhone. A woman picks it up, and then an emergency alert. Okay. So at this moment, when I was reading this, I was like, okay, this feels like it's going to be like a disaster movie or something, right? And then, shit, we're inside this insurance place, and then evacuations. We think it's going to be really serious, but then a little surprise, they're just joking around. Like, it's not a big deal. We get all these, like emergency warnings all the time. Like if you live in Southern California, you probably got, messages like this on your phone before. Or even probably anywhere in California. There's a lot of fires California. And isn't it
I
kind
think
of
that's interesting because as a
Mhm.
British person, I have never had an emergency alert before. And so I was like, why are they being so casual? Like, if I got this, I would think it was the end of the world. And I was like, we're just like casually looking up my shop and just like, oh, how long till Ken's gonna be here? I was like, why aren't you panicking? But yeah, that makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense now. I understand. You know, they
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
so
it happens a
many.
lot. And and then so she's like, hang on, sorry, she forgot her phone, goes back in. And, it just maybe what are some of the questions? Like, okay, now we're at the bottom of page 2, right? It's just 2 pages. So what are the mysteries or dramatic questions that have the writer raised for you so far?
I think like, is the town basically gone? Like, it sounds like everything is just burnt to a crisp. Like the way that they described the KFC, like it feels like everything is just like gone.
Well, that's a little bit later, right? That's like around
Like,
page.
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but just on page 2, we don't even see any, like it's just the insurance office. It's all cool. There's no, fire or anything there, right? But they're just getting their warnings on their phones. But I mean, it is kind of a question, like why don't they care about the warning, right? I mean, especially if you weren't, used to seeing those kinds of warnings on your phone. But it says mandatory evacuation. That's
Yeah.
pretty serious.
Do we know where this is set?
So Telegi National Forest, California. So most people
okay.
don't know
Mm-hmm.
what Telegi is, and so they're just gonna California. So somewhere in California,
Right.
we see California reds. I think that means California redwoods, right?
Okay.
So Northern California.
Okay.
I would say maybe they're desensitized to fires because it happens so often, but also I don't know because if you're living in a place where fire happens often, you might be more sensitive to when it's if it says to evacuate, you know how serious it can be. So it could go either way in that regard, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess it
yeah.
would if for example they lived in North Carolina, California, and you get a lot of South keep going to say Carolina, California fires, then you might be like, okay, it's serious, but it's not going to affect me. Maybe that's a bit of
What
what it is, I guess.
What's the single one biggest dramatic question that's raised in the first 2 pages?
Where's Cindy? Yeah.
Cindy is right here.
Oh no. Oh,
It was where's
she came
Ken, I
back.
think.
I thought that she's missing, right?
No, Wendy is
Wendy's
missing,
Ken.
but we
Well,
don't know that yet.
Wendy. Oh, I meant
Yeah.
Wendy. Wendy, not Cindy.
I'm
I'm
here.
Yeah,
so
but
sorry, Cindy.
we don't know Wendy's missing yet.
We do know that she's sort of somewhere else. They're asking where she is. I don't know, like, it seems more like a simultaneous thing, but I thought it was sort of like a flashback. I wasn't really
I
sure what was happening there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like just imagine you've just read the 2 pages. You haven't read anything else yet. So what's the biggest
W-
question on your
2
mind
pages.
as a reader? Yeah.
Maybe what the
What started
emergency
the
is.
fire? I guess.
Okay. So sorry,
Like
I had
what's
2 people
yeah,
talking at
how
once. So Roman said what the
sorry,
emergency
I'll
is.
stop. I'll
Mhm.
stop.
I don't really remember what happened in the first 2 pages. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm streaming it, but yeah. So, sorry. Go ahead, Roman. You're saying what the?
Okay, so for me, it would be how severe is this emergency, and like what is the
Mhm.
emergency?
Yeah, those are important questions. I think they're raised, but the biggest question, in my opinion, is Jessie going to survive? Is she going to make it? Right? She's not treating this very seriously, right? She's kind of like joking about it. Oh, that's all right. $10 says he stops for coffee first, and they're laughing and, oh, I forgot my phone. And she goes back in and she gets the phone. And then, now she's standing in front of the office outside texting. There's a big gust of wind. There's still no fire, but then she sees a single ember floating in the air, a tiny glowing speck, zigzags downward, hits the asphalt, and goes cold. She looks at it strangely, like, whoa, a little ember. That's all and then her husband arrives in the car. So the biggest question for me, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but it's just, is Jessie going to survive? Is she going to, we already can see, like, dang, this is a really serious fire, man. I mean, snakes are trying to escape this thing. The bird is on fire, and there's all this crazy, they're dropping water and it does absolutely nothing, right? And all the animals are just, and usually, like, that's kind of maybe a sort of psychological or, like a thing that people have a feeling about, that animals predict disasters, right? So just seeing all these animals freaking out is kind of like, for me, it helps to build the tension. Like, oh my God, this is really big. Like, this is not just a little fire, right? And so we're wondering, like, is Jessie going to escape? Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, it does.
so, yeah. Any other thoughts on, like, the opening, pages that we read, like the first 15 pages? So, like, every little moment, it's, again, there's a really clear goal and there's obstacles, somebody trying different tactics to achieve the goal that's really difficult, and there's a little surprise. Like, every single moment, every single scene has a little something unexpected, something surprising, and that kind of keeps us going, right? This is apart from the really masterful descriptions, and the dialogue is, pretty, like, like really strong dialogue and stuff, but I think just
And
the
it's
structure
really
of the
tight as
scenes,
well.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, the
it's really
structure of the
tight.
scenes is just, every scene there's somebody trying to get something, and they're, it's difficult, and they're trying different tactics, and then there's a little surprise, right? So then the next scene, she's with Ken and they're chatting. Okay, it seems like they're going to be going to pick up their daughter. They can't get a hold of her. Like, that seems what the scene's going to be about. And then, Ron said the fire is not on the other side of Merced. It's not even close. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, let's not go nuts packing stuff. So they're just thinking about, oh, this is going to be a pain. We got to go pack some stuff. But the fire's not even going to, it's just like I've been evacuated in a hurricane. I went to school in New Orleans, and, like, oh my God, the hurricane is coming right for us. Everybody get out of the dorms, get out of the college. The school was evacuated, and we went to Mississippi, and then the hurricane followed us instead. And then the motel where we were staying was evacuated. So, I mean, I've been in that kind of situation where you feel like, oh, if I would have just stayed home, I would have been fine, right? Then the trailer park's on fire. Now we're seeing, orange flames flickering on the roofs like birthday candles. Holy shit, steps on it. Their faces go white. Oh my God, their house is already on fire, right? They just said the fire was on the other side of Merced, like, it's really far away. And now, so then Ken's going to grab the computer. It'll just take 2 seconds. No, Ken, fuck the computer, right? I mean, like, it's kind of, I don't know. It's like funny, but it feels sort of realistic, like something you might.
Feels real.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ken snaps out of it, gets back in the car. So then the SUV speeds off, right? And now it's more about just getting, stuck in the traffic, and then the fire catches up to the traffic, right? At first, it seems like we got to get to Ridgeview, we got to find our daughter, but they can't because of the traffic. And then, oh no, actually, this scene, lady, you got to move. The scene is not about that. It's a surprise. Hey, the fire is here. Like, you're screwed. And then they have a new objective, like, get the hell out of here. But the traffic, they can't go anywhere, right? So everything, it's like they try something. Does it work? Yes, it works, but there's a bigger complication, or no, it doesn't work, and shit gets even worse, right? Like that. This is basically the recipe for storytelling, or any scenes. Like the main character wants something, they're trying a tactic in the scene. There's something they want in the scene. Does it work? No, and there's something even worse happens. Or yes, it works, but there's a complication, right? So does that make sense?
Yep.
So yeah, any other thoughts about the scene, the story so far, the characters, or anything that you disliked?
I guess
thought it was really
it was good. Don't know how I felt about the dialogue, but I don't know what made me feel like off put by it. I don't know. I can't really tell. So that's just something I felt, but I have no idea how to articulate. But I
I
did like everything else.
I my opinion on the dialogue is I think it's very concise and to the point because I don't like they're really panicked and so they're kind of just saying, oh my God. Like I think it would come through the acting, which I think is not to say that our voice actors weren't good, they were fantastic. It's just that I think like during like while in context of the scene, it might play better in my mind at least, but I can see like yeah, it feels like they're repeating a lot of like oh my gods and stuff like that which I get it, and sometimes it maybe feels a bit unrealistic, but like I thought it was like them just like in panic mode, and like when you're in panic mode, you just sort of say, "Oh my god," and like they kind of just get to that level. So I also liked it was kind of snappy and it felt like it felt intense, like the fire was coming. So I thought it was good, but I can understand that could feel stilted.
Yeah, I guess that's how I felt. But it does seem realistic. It is. I guess I wasn't into like the whole repetition of what is that? What was that? Oh my god. Which
Yeah,
is a
I can
pretty
get that. I
unreasonable
can get that.
nitpick, but it's something I felt. That's all. The rest.
Yeah, there are these little interesting sort of, this is something like if you read the whole script, you'll find there are a lot of little um, visual moments that seem to have kind of a deeper meaning, right? Like the bird trying to punch through the smoke, the bird on fire that falls down, right? There's another moment where Jesse is following some deer that were in the smoke, and racing alongside the car that's trying to get out of the smoke as well. And then later, they actually make it through, and the deer leap out of the smoke. They're safe, and there's a fawn, a little baby deer, with them. And then boom, a bobcat springs out of the brush and takes the fawn to the ground, right? And she gasps, and again, it's like maybe repetitive. She keeps saying, "Oh my God," but it's just like a little interesting thing. Like, why is this in this movie? Like, what does this have to do with the story? And there are little moments like that that sort of, they're almost like taking this screenplay to a different level, almost a little bit more like literature, right? Like where there's these little sort of symbolic visual moments that are, just like come back into the story later.
Hmm.
You seem to have lost Nacho. Oh, you break up a little bit, Nacho.
Oh no, did you guys hear me? So I was saying there's a lot of these kinds of little moments that are, kind of elevate the screenplay beyond just, it's not just like, there are some screenplays that you read and you say, okay, like I can picture a really cool movie. And then there are some screenplays that you read and it's like, reading literature almost, like they're just riveting.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It was kind of like a novel and script. I really liked it in that regard with with how descriptive it was, despite being concise. And you can be concise while being all descriptive, and I really like
Yes.
that, and I aspire to do that myself.
Yes.
A+.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can be very literary and use metaphors and all these cool poetry in your words and still, be concise. And you'll see that also if you read scripts by Colin Bannon, I think does a great job with some poetic action lines. And Tony Gilroy as well. He wrote Michael Clayton. So yeah, this is so I definitely encourage everyone to read the script. I'll post it here just in case anyone had trouble finding the script.
I think I started reading this because I remember, some of that. I was like, haven't we read this already? But yeah, I think it was me reading.
Yeah, I think.
What changed?
Well,
I started reading the script.
I think we did just the first page in a first pages class or something that we did a while back, or
Right.
or a lab or something. I remember we looked through a few like opening pages in a class, and yeah, this was one of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I really like being all the yellow characters.
Yeah, so we may continue reading more next week, or maybe if everyone has scripts, submit them, and we'll include you. I think Carlos submitted. We got your submission, Carlos, for next week's table reads. And I would just encourage everyone to read this one if you're interested in just studying, like the craft. Like this person is a master, in my opinion.
Yep. Very
I
good.
wonder if this will ever be a movie.
I would say, yeah. And honestly, like just reading it,
enough to be.
Having read the whole script, I was surprised that it's not based on a novel. Like it really feels like it could be a gripping, crime thriller novel as well.
I hope Nick Cage plays a firefighter. Or if they,
I'm sure he's
someone like him,
available.
Yeah, why not?
Did Nacho leave?
I think he did, yes. I don't know if he meant to leave.
Directionless. What do we do?
Teacher's gone, party on.
Yeah. Anything else anyone wants to say? I will be next most senior rank in yeah, all good points.
Does anybody know?
Know what?
How to sign out, to say adios here.
Oh. Okay, you click on the red button, the red call button thing. And then you leave.
Where?
It's got like an X over
At the
it.
bottom, there's a phone symbol with a...
At the bottom? Where?
Oh, no, it's still there. Nacho is still there. He just suddenly left.
What?
Yeah, I could disconnect you if you would like. I will disconnect you for you, Cindy. But yeah, we will see.
I can still hear everybody talking, so I must have done something wrong.
It's okay. I'll disconnect you for you. But yeah, we'll see you all next week at the same time.
Okay, honey. Thank you very, very much. I do appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. So long.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It looks like I accidentally exited, but thanks
everyone
everyone.
started leaving.
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, we have a fantasy workshop starting up shortly. And thanks. We received your script, okay, Carlos, in the table read, so we'll be reading it next week. And yeah, have a great weekend, everybody.
Yay.